Have you ever imagined living in a world where darkness was truly dark? Now close your eyes. There are no streetlights, no phone screens, no distant car headlights. Just blackness. Dense, heavy, and creeping into your bones. The moment the sun disappeared beyond the horizon, it felt as if an invisible curtain dropped over the city. Marketplaces that were crowded during the day fell silent. The sound of hammers stopped. The shouting of merchants faded. People hurried back to their homes. Because night was not just another time of day. Night was another world. In many medieval cities, massive wooden gates were shut before sunset. Iron bars were locked into place. Chains were tightened. Drawbridges were raised. If you were outside, you stayed outside. Entering a city at night was nearly impossible. Darkness was the perfect cover for enemies. Raids, surprise attacks, arson, these often happened after sunset. Guards patrolled along the walls. The flickering light of torches created moving shadows across the stone. Those shadows sometimes looked like something was shifting, watching. If distant hoofbeats were heard, tension spread instantly. Was it real or just the wind? Sometimes, by the time you found out, it was too late. Streets that were lively during the day turned into eerie labyrinths at night. There were almost no proper sewage systems. The roads were muddy, wet, and often foul-smelling. Without moonlight, seeing even a few steps ahead was difficult. So if someone was outside at night, they were either wealthy or desperate. Thieves, pickpockets, drunk soldiers, they preferred the dark. Darkness hid identities. In some medieval courts, crimes committed at night were punished more severely. Being out after dark meant you had chosen to take a risk. If you were caught wandering at night, suspicion followed immediately. What are you doing here at this hour? That question could be dangerous. So what happened once people retreated indoors? Most peasants lived in small, one-room houses made of stone or clay. Sometimes animals shared the same roof. A small fire burned in the center, and smoke slowly escaped through a hole in the ceiling. Dinner was simple. Soup, bread, maybe some vegetables. But the most important part wasn't the food. It was the stories. Night is the time for storytelling. The elderly would speak of wars, plagues, miracles. Children listened, mesmerized by the firelight. But these stories were rarely cheerful. There were witches, people who vanished in forests, strange knocks on doors in the dead of night. Medieval people did not explain nature with science. The unknown was either God's will or the devil's work. When the wind suddenly slammed the door shut, it wasn't just the wind. It could be a sign. Outside the cities, especially in forests, night was even more terrifying. Trees that seemed manageable during the day turned into towering black shapes. Wolves howled in the distance. Moonlight filtered through branches, creating unnatural shapes in the shadows. Many people believed forests were inhabited by fairies, spirits, demons. In some villages, whistling at night was thought to summon evil beings. Imagine this. You're alone on a deserted path. You carry a small torch. The flame trembles in the wind. You turn. There is nothing. Your heartbeat echoes in your ears. That was medieval night, a test of the mind where fear often grew louder than reality. Castles looked magnificent from the outside, but inside, they were cold and dark. Stone walls trapped moisture. Long corridors echoed with every step. Torches didn't last long. Oil was expensive. Many areas of a castle were left in complete darkness at night. Guards walked along the battlements while the lord and his family gathered in the great hall. Knights removed their armor, but often kept their swords nearby, because a night attack was always possible. Sometimes, the fall of a castle required only one thing: a small gate opened under cover of darkness. In monasteries, night followed a different rhythm. Monks would wake after midnight for prayers known as matins. Sleep was divided. People often had a first sleep and a second sleep. Between them, they prayed, reflected, or sat quietly before returning to rest. Night was considered a time closer to God, but it was also seen as the hour of sin. Darkness magnified not only fears, but desires. That is why night was both sacred and dangerous. There was also a darker reality. Disease was everywhere in the Middle Ages. Plague, typhus, infections. If someone's fever rose in the middle of the night, there was little anyone could do. No modern medicine, no real treatment, only candlelight and helpless waiting. Many people died during the night. In the morning, church bells would ring. Night meant not only fear, but loss. When the sun rose, it brought more than light. It brought safety. It brought hope. It brought life back to the streets. Gates reopened. Markets returned. Children ran outside. People took a deep breath. Another night had been survived. Today, night can feel romantic. Peaceful walks under streetlights. quiet city evenings. But in the Middle Ages, night was when humans were most vulnerable. Darkness was not simply the absence of light, it was uncertainty, it was fear, it was respect for the unknown. Perhaps that is why medieval people valued the sun more than we do today, because when the sun set, the world truly changed.